Hi guys, welcome to my channel. For most of you who follow me, you have probably realized that I have been MIA for a while. I went away with my husband for our 1-year anniversary, and after that I had to go to Ghana for my mom's birthday and some other stuff. So I've not been able to record, but I'm here now. And also, prior to our leaving to Greece, that's where we went, I did record some videos which I planned on editing whilst I was away so I could just upload them and put them out there. Unfortunately, I didn't know I hadn't saved them, and so I lost everything I recorded. It was quite upsetting, but I guess such is life, so I have to re-record those videos. This video, I'm not even sure how the structure of this video is going to be, but it's just mainly like an update video for what has been happening whilst I've been away from YouTube, and at the same time it's just to restructure things on my channel, because if you're new here, you're welcome. But for those of you who have been following, you do realize that I usually would answer questions that people have been asking on my social media pages. However, after doing this for about 2 months, I have realized that if I'm going to stick to this plan, it's going to become a bit more hectic, because most of the questions that are sent to me are specific to individuals. Sometimes what I usually do is I read through the questions and then I kind of like generalize it, but as my following keeps growing and growing, I may not be able to answer every question. What I have decided to do is to decide the content of my message as against answering questions. I don't know if you get what I mean. So I'm just going to pick a subject and talk about it, and then hopefully it would answer questions that people have. However, if you still feel like you have like a question that's like a bit, you know, outside anything I'll be sharing, then you can go ahead and ask, and then I'll try to respond. This video won't be like what I usually do, because I've got tons and tons of questions that I have to answer. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go right into my Instagram inbox, and I'm going to read out the questions and answer them. I have taken my time to pick out the ones that I think would be beneficial to everyone watching. But yeah, so let's go straight into it. Someone says, hi Auntie Kukua. Sorry, that even made me cough. Sorry guys, I'm not an auntie. I'm quite young. I'm not going to say my age, but I'm not an auntie. I don't consider myself as Auntie Kukua, so you can just call me Kukua. Says, hi Auntie Kukua, I hope you and Pastor Kobe are doing good by God's grace. Please, I want to ask you something and I hope you respond to it. So I have a blog, and I decided to blog about Christ and spread the word of God. Like motivational messages, teachings or preachings, and then you can send them to me. I don't quite get the question, but I'm assuming what she's asking is she's got a blog and she wants to know what to do. The way I actually started my blog was by creating a free account on WordPress. So you just go to www.wordpress.com, and then I think it allows you to create a free account. That's how I started. And then after you have blogged for some time and then you've got quite a number of followers, then maybe you can decide to go to a premium plan, which I have now. But yeah, you can just start with a free website. Okay, so the next person is asking, she says, hi Auntie Kukua, I would like to ask you something that really bothers me. So I have certain problems that I do not know how to solve. I often get good counsel from people, but then I feel like if I listen to what they tell me, I'll be living my life according to how someone thinks and not my own thinking. So basically she's trying to say that, what do you do when you constantly get advice from people and you feel like you're not taking your own advice, or you're living your life off of people's advice. What I would say is that God speaks to us in different ways. God could speak to you directly concerning a situation, but in a case where you're not hearing God because like you're probably too occupied with maybe work or life or whatever it is, God can send you the same message through someone else. So it's not bad to listen to advice, or else all the things that I've been doing on social media and YouTube will be a waste of time, if you get what I mean. So it's good to take advice from people, but at the end of the day, you want to make sure that everything, every advice that someone gives you is in line with the word of God, if you get what I mean. Like, you can't take advice from someone when they're telling you something contrary to what the word of God says. The next question, someone wants to know, okay, this is not a question, but I added it because I found it quite interesting. And she says that, I wish I could be like you. Know God so much for myself, to allow myself for him to use me like he does with you. Sometimes I feel empty. I wish I could stop sleeping with a partner I don't love just because of what I get in return. I don't know where and how to quit. Even if I do, what will life be like? I really need to say a lot. I'm hurting inside and I hate the life I'm in. I put this out there because I can understand where this person is coming from. It's easy to see someone in the spotlight, or it's easy to see someone on social media and think that they have a perfect life, if you get what I mean. Even though I put quite a lot of things on social media, it does not exempt me from struggle. It does not exempt me from hardships. I live quite a normal life like everybody else. The only thing I would say is that I have allowed myself, or I have made myself available for God to use. I don't know if you get what I mean. So I personally would say that you should never live your life thinking you could be somebody else, or wishing that your life was like someone else's, because you have no idea what kind of life they live privately, and you don't even know if you're graced enough to be able to live the kind of life they live on social media and even off of social media. First of all, identify who you are, identify what your purpose is, and walk in it. I don't know if you get what I mean. Well, it's good to admire people. Like, there are people that I look up to, there are people that I admire, but at the same time, I still appreciate who I am and what God has called me to do. If you did that, you would find yourself appreciating your life a bit more. You would compare yourself less to people because you identify or know that your calling is different and your purpose is unique to you, if you get what I mean. So yeah, that's it. I'll personally say I identify who you are, and just be authentic to your true self, because it is in that people would also discover who you are and what you've been set out to do. And the other part of the question, where she's saying that she's been, with her partner and, been sleeping with him because of what she'd get. What I would say about that is to know that no one can completely fulfill your needs, or no one can completely provide for you. Do you get what I mean? Like, you must identify that God is your source. Like, sometimes these things sound very spiritual, but it's actually the truth, because in every phase of life you go through, there's a different level of challenge and need that comes with it. Man has just been designed in such a way that we are not all self-sufficient, and so we need to rely on some other being. Obviously, you feel like you need to survive, and you feel like this person is the one that's been there and providing for you. You would always run to people for help. You would always run to people for answers. But if you lived in that state of mind where you knew that everything you needed, or everything that pertained to like a good life, was from God, it would be easier for you to directly, relate to him with respect to your needs. And the other thing I would say is, for you to do something for yourself. I find that a lot of the times, some of the reasons why people end up depending on others is because they're really not doing much for themselves, if you get what I mean. Think about it. The person that is providing for you is doing something that makes it possible for them to be able to provide. So what you have to do to be able to take that power away from them is for you to do something to provide for yourself. And the last thing I would say with respect to this is, because some people might say, oh yeah, like I'm trying to find a job, I'm trying to do this, but it's not enough, whatever. This is where the word contentment comes in. Like, people have seen so much on social media, seen so much in other people's lives, that you feel entitled to live a life like that. But you must understand that before people got to the level that you see them at now, they were at a lower level. I don't know if you get what I mean, but they started from somewhere. And until you're content and happy with the phase that you're in, you're always going to feel like, oh, you deserve better and your life should be this. Do you get what I mean? Like, you have to be able to be content in the state that you're in, and know that great joy and happiness comes from contentment, like Paul says in the Bible. You know, just to really appreciate the little you have. Because if you can't appreciate the little you have, there is no guarantee that when you have more, you're going to appreciate it. You'd be surprised you'd have more and you'd still want to be like cramming for more and more. So just really be content with where you are and thank God for all that He's provided you with. Okay, so this person says, hello Mrs. Asihene, recently I've been watching videos of you and your husband on YouTube. Thank you. And I've been blessed by them. I'm a young man or woman, I guess, trying hard to get serious with the Lord, but I have this problem with listening to secular music, especially rap songs. I want to give that up, but I'm always going back. I would like to know if there are some ways I can stop listening to them as a young girl. Thank you, by the way. I really love your videos. Thanks for your message. With music, what I would firstly say is that sometimes I think people underestimate the power of music. Listen, you can be quiet and sad and moody, and just by listening to some kind of upbeat song, it just kind of like lifts your spirit. Do you get what I mean? Music has so much power and influence over our lives, especially in our state of mind. What I would recommend is to get rid of the songs. I think it's quite simple, if you ask me. If you're listening to a certain type of music, you want to transition from listening to rap or secular music into listening to godly or wholesome music, I would say step number one is to get rid of all the music. Like, delete all of them off your phone, off your iPad, your iPod, like wherever you have your music stored. Get rid of every single one of them. And step number two is to replace the music that you have gotten rid of. So now what it means is like you have to scout for godly music or wholesome music and upload them onto your phone or whichever device you use to listen to music. If you liked rap music, obviously that's what you're saying in the question, then find gospel music in the same genre. I don't know if you get what I mean. Like, if it's well, some people say you can't have gospel rap, gospel trap, what, I don't know about that. As long as the words are wholesome and, you know, it glorifies God, then so yeah, so maybe you want to do that switch from secular rap music to gospel rap music. Do you get what I mean? Just find gospel music in that particular genre, and after some time you'd realize that you'd be weaning off it and you might not enjoy going back to secular music anymore. So that's it for music. Hi Mrs. Asihene, I believe you're fine. Please, I wanted to know your YouTube username. Would like to subscribe. I'm a big fan of yours and would want to marry a pastor in the future as well. Thank you. My YouTube name is Kukua Asihene. Well, these questions are from my Instagram, so maybe not everybody knows. I wanted to comment on the last bit of the question where she talks about wanting to marry a pastor as well. In recent times, I realized that people are beginning to love the idea of being with a pastor, sometimes because of the spotlight it puts you in, or you know, just the glamour that comes with, you know, ministry and all of that stuff. But I would say that if you have that desire, pray about it. But you should also know that it comes with its own burdens. Do you get what I mean? So you also want to be asking God for the grace to be with a man of God, so that you do not sabotage the calling on his life. Okay, I think this is going to be the last question. She says, hello Kukua, I believe you're doing well by the grace of God. I'm fine, thank you. For as long as I can remember, I have a strong desire to worship God, but I start and I allow myself to fail and go back into the world and make mistakes. I don't know your story and I don't know you, but I know everyone had a story and then everyone has had a struggle. I want to say I want to be like you. That sounds really lame and corny. But what I can say is I admire your love for God. It's raw and passionate, and I want that. Help me. Thank you for your kind words. I think maybe I should record a separate video on my life before this exposure. And yes, you're right. Everybody has been through some kind of struggle. Everybody has been through some kind of pain. Like I've already said before, it's good to admire people, but you should not necessarily want to be like them. Okay, so she's saying that she's been struggling with her Christian walk. She starts and then she falls back, and she wants to know how she can be consistent with it. I'd want to say that it's quite normal. Maybe normal might not be the right word, but what I'm trying to say is that it happens to every one of them. Sometimes you realize that you're like up here, and then other times you realize that you're not so up to it. But what I would say is, whenever you fall, just get back up again. When we read the story of the life of people in the Bible, we realize that at some point in time they had some kind of struggle, but they always bounce back. So the secret, I would say, is to make sure that whenever you fall, you bounce back up again. When you make a mistake, don't stay there. Everyone makes mistakes, but the difference between the person that succeeds and the person that does not is that the person that succeeds jumps back up again when they make mistakes. But people who don't just stay in their mistake and just wallow in it. What you want to do is to get back to the things that you used to do before. You know, it's quite interesting when people use the word backsliding. They kind of refer to like something negative and something you know, associated with the world. But to backslide mainly means that you are slacking on what you used to do before. So for instance, you used to pray for an hour and now you're praying for 30 minutes, or you're not even praying at all. What you have to do is to basically just go back to the things that you used to do that made you want to pray for that long. If it's like setting the atmosphere, or you know, being associated with certain friends that used to encourage you to pray more. I mean, whatever it is, like, you will know best. So just identify what it is that used to make you be on fire for God, and just get back to those things and you'll be fine. So that's it for today's video. Like I said, I'm going to restructure the content of my videos so that I can be more consistent with it. And yeah, so thanks a lot for watching today's video. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate your love and support on social media, off social media, people that meet me in person. Like, I really do appreciate your love and support. My husband and I are really thankful for, you know, the messages that you guys send us and the encouragement that you guys send us and all of the love. Like, you guys are really amazing, and I really do appreciate your support. So yes guys, that's it for today's video. I hope my answers were helpful, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.